Hey everybody, Dishadara here, and the title of this video is Should Wiccans be vegetarian and or vegan? Question mark. Now, my opinion is no. I don't think there should be a mandate that requires us to eat a certain food unless there was a good reason for eating that food. Now, if you think about meat and all that, of course we think hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, ribs, steak, steak. But you also have to consider the fact that there are a lot of companies here in the U.S. and of course abroad that mistreat, abuse their animals terribly. If you haven't looked at PETA or any shop video that shows essentially that's what it is, animal torture, and these companies, even kosher. What is the name of it? It's kosher something. We answer to a higher power. I think that's. I used to see the commercials like a year ago. Even the kosher animals, when you look at the hidden camera vids, oh my god, they are just brutalizing the animals, and it's just very, very terrible if you haven't seen them. Well, first is highly graphic. We're talking about slit throats, animals having seizures. We're talking about ducks, like not these, since these are geese. Wait, you can't see them. Oh, yeah, you see these little things right there. Yeah, those are little baby geese. We're talking about little chickens being ground up in blenders, all kind of stuff. I forgot exactly what it was they were putting them in there for, but I remember seeing it. I also remember seeing baby pigs, testicles being ripped out. No anesthesia, and they say, "Oh, it doesn't really hurt the pig." Excuse me. Let me rip your nuts out, and let's see how badly it does not hurt. So now we have to consider that, especially when we say that we follow the Wiccan read, and then harm not do without will, less in defense it be, which is an add-on, so we can defend ourselves and have the justification and all that without causing any unnecessary undue harm, which is what I believe we are doing, whether it's intentional or not. The foods that we buy, unless we do our research, they might be, from cruelty products. People who abuse companies and people who abuse their animals, whether it's meat or dairy. So that's why a lot of people go vegetarian or go as far as to being vegan, which means that they don't consume dairy products or fish. So, me personally, like I said, I don't think I said it, actually, but let me mention it now if I haven't. I'm a meat eater. I am not a vegetarian. I am not a vegan. So, be that as it may, do I want to be? Not necessarily. I wouldn't mind it. It'd be a new thing to try, but I'm not I'm not rearing to go to be a vegetarian or a vegan. But if you consider would I rather be a vegetarian or eat cruel products, then yes, I would rather be vegetarian or a vegan. But here's the thing: even if you don't, even if let's say meat bad because until the food companies essentially just stop buying or selling cruelty products. Till then, no moratorium, ban, boycott, whatever. Even with plants, there's cruelty. Not cruelty to the plants themselves, cruelty to the landscape, cruelty, and it does happen to extend back to the animals. Now, of course, in order to make a farm, there has to be some not deforestation, but there has to be cutting of trees, and in some cases deforestation, depending on the location. Now, to do that, of course, you're killing a bunch of trees, which, life and death kind of thing. Necessary harm. There's, such thing as necessary harm and undue harm. The clearing of trees and shrubland for a farm, that's necessary harm because you have to harm something so that you can get something out of land and be able to live. That's the whole nature of life. You gotta kill, you gotta eat, whether it be plants or animals. We're not plants. We don't make chlorophyll. So we have to, things have to be killed. So anyway, Um, on when you cut down, of course, there are farms. There are plenty of farms. Actually, just about every farm. You know, if they were to see coyotes, foxes, that kind of thing, shot, dead, bam. But that's not our fault. And that's not our fault because we need to farm. We have to farm. You know, we have to have agriculture. That can't be helped at all. Okay, you got to get down now, buddy. You're moving too much. Anyway, but you also have to consider that farming includes fertilizers. Fertilizers help speed the growth up. You do that. Let's say you have something like rain. Include rain into the mixture. You get runoff. The fertilizer, all the chemicals that are in fertilizer, thus goes from being in the land to being water pollution. From that water pollution, who has to deal with that? Everything. Because water is the very basis of earth life. So it gets soaked up in the plants, it gets soaked up in the animals. We eat the animals depending on what chemicals we put in, based off of farming and just general just dumping. Not us as individuals, but us as humanity, as humans. Then, of course, even if we're vegetarian, we can still contribute. So, what is the best thing to do? Do your research into companies, be they textile, clothing companies, or um, or you look at farming practices, beauty companies. I think PETA still has their link up that shows basically all the companies that use that are cruelty free and those that are not cruelty free. But this extends more beyond. This extends beyond animals. This also because we as humans are animals. You know, sweatshops. You look at the back of your tag. What is it? What will it usually say? China, Thailand, Brazil, India, Pakistan. Like, for example, my shoe, my good handy dandy shoe. What it was it made in? Let me check. Look at that. You can't see it. Made in China. These shoes, he's very beaten, very worn out, but I like these shoes because they're very comfortable for my feet. Are made in China. Now, China, sweatshops. Some places are made in Japan, but you got to do your research into the not even the wage, but just how they treat their workers. Because there are some that essentially use slave labor, essentially. Like the sweatshops. If you haven't been looking at the news, there have been plenty of reports of sweatshops where hundreds, well, dozens to even hundreds of people dying because, safety. There are forced enslaved conditions where there's no central heating or cooling. People. This is what gets me. Um, we as Wiccans like to preach love and life for all. You know, have to do what you have to do. You gotta live off. You gotta commune with the earth and deity and all that. But how do we do? How do we? I mean, if you look at what we do, food. There are plenty of places that if we actually did the research and actively tried to find cruelty-free industries, be they food or textile, we could find them. But most of us do not. Some of it is based off ignorance. We just don't know. But there are plenty of things out here on YouTube that we love to look at, and I am sure that some of us has at least come across it. And if we're now, this isn't to down us because I mean I can't try and act holier than thou because I do it too. Shoes, China. Pants, foreign country. Slave labor, slave labor. I don't say this out of happiness. I say this out of sadness because right now I am not in the financial bracket where I can just start where I can do the research, but I can't purchase specialty shops and all that kind of stuff. I can't. But there's a difference between I can't do something and I will not do something. If you're unable to buy specialty product, be they special ordering for like organic foods, because some of them can be expensive. Organics or cruelty free. When I say cruelty free, I mean of all animals, including us. If you don't have the financial resources to do it, then yeah, it is a bad practice, but you can't help it. But if you can help what you buy, then there is no excuse for inaction. Now, I'm not saying we be activists or things like that, but if we are truly part of a religion that seeks communion with the earth, and if we actually can make a difference, we should do it. Because it is not very Wiccan to say, praise be to the goddess, and at the same time we're abusing her animals, be they buying clothing from companies that essentially use slave labor, or we eat foods that if we just were to look on Google and try and look for the companies that do cruelty-free anim, um, um, animal slaughter, and look for those that do cruel animal slaughter, then everything, it's hypocritical. You love the earth, yet you buy from people who abuse her terribly. So do I, again, let me go back for a quick review. Do I think that Wiccans should be vegan or vegetarian? No. But what I do think we should do is look up companies, and we should be aware of what we buy. Be aware where our food comes from. Be aware of what our clothing comes from. Because you see this vain culture and mainstream pop culture, how it's like, oh, you gotta have the most expensive things. Y'all got Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all that bullshit. And in the end, what does it amount to? Yes, it amounts to this. I have a very nice looking shoe. I have a very nice looking hat. I have a very nice looking belt. Look at my pants. Aren't they fancy? In the end, it's nothing but vanity. In the end, it's nothing but, hey everybody, look at this sparkly toy that I have that's so fucking expensive you can't afford it. But at the end of the day, what does it do to contribute to society? Does it help anyone? No. It just helps your own egotistic attitude. And this isn't me trying to bash anyone who likes expensive products, even though it may seem like it. The whole point of this is that the things that we buy, that we just blindly buy without thinking about the impact that it has on the people who make it, or the practices that people who make the products or purchase the products or sell the products, if we're not aware of the practices that they use, we're just buying blindly. We're just accepting things as they are and not doing anything to change it so that we can help nature and all of its aspects and all of its creations, which is us. We are not separate from nature. We are a part of nature. From nature we came. We are no different from it. Each animal is blessed with their own ability. We just happen to be blessed with a good, sound mind. And we should use this mind and stop being complete and utter idiots and act like the world is all love and light and joy and peace. There is no such thing in this world. If we want there to be more peace, if we want there to be more love, more justice, we don't have to be activists, but we should use our purchasing power, our economic vote. We should use that so that we can send the message to the companies that do right. We support what we do instead of blindly giving money to all of these greedy corporations and people that do nothing but abuse the very earth that we claim to worship and revere as part of the expression of deity and of the god and goddess. It makes sense. I'm checking the time. 13:45, 13:46 now. So that's my little rambling. So, no, you don't have to be vegan. You don't have to be vegetarian. But if you're going to claim Wicca, me included, because I'm no different, I too am doing the wrong thing. And if you are doing the wrong thing, then we should all collectively as a faith feel the sadness of the animals that are being harmed by these various industries that give no fucking care as to the harm that they cause to nature. The only way we can harm the people who do these abuses and do these travesties to the nature that we love so much is by looking them up and by call your congressman. Do something. Don't just sit there and like, oh well, it's so massive, I'm only one person. So what? If we all collectively come together and decide to make a change, to do something, we can do it. One thing that I see a lot with people online and social media is that we all say, I'm just one person, I can't do a damn thing. Even if you're just one person, at least you're that one person that's doing something right. You know, you're the one out of all the, even if you have to stand alone, so long as you're doing the right thing, you should be proud of yourself. I'm doing the wrong thing. Oh, did I just spit? My apologies. I'm doing the wrong thing. Cereal. Okay, anyway, he's insistent, this little dog. I'm doing the wrong thing. I have clothes, slave labor. Pants, slave labor. Shoes, slave labor. The only thing that is not based off of slave labor is this. My necklace, my spirit stone, my citrine crystal. It's the only thing that's not slave labor. And I am ashamed that I wear what I wear. But there's nothing that I can do about it. And this isn't to shame anyone yet again. This is so that we can have awareness on the things that we do and the negative impact it has upon the earth and the universe as a whole. We're harming the body of the goddess and of the god. We should seek more to preserve the very gifts that we have been blessed with. We shouldn't wait until a tragedy occurs, that tipping point when now it's like, oh, we done fucked up now as a species. We shouldn't wait till we get past that tipping point to be like, damn, we should have did something. You know, hindsight is 2020, and and now that those who view my video and other videos on YouTube, we can do something, and we should do something. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Right now, I can't help it. Mother, you know, it's not that kind of situation. But the very second, I swear, you know, I'm not even making this promise to you guys, the viewers. I'm making this to myself. I'm making this to Dee Dee. I'm making it to the divine forces that make me who I am. That the second I am financially able to, yes, I will do my part and making sure that these companies that abuse nature, that take advantage and exploit her animals, I'm going to make sure that I do the right thing. Research, even if they're not as fashionable, maybe they're not in, who gives a fuck? Because in the end, these are just material possessions. Material possessions, they all go away. The only enduring thing is the impact that we have to nature and what we do to contribute to our fellow man and let them know, instill within them the knowledge that, hey, you should do right by the earth because it's where you come from. You will not be alive were it not for the earth. So I'm going to create the awareness even now, but I'm not going to make it seem like I'm better than anyone. You know, I'm a sinner just as much as everybody else. The only difference is I am unable to, but as soon as I'm able to, I will do my absolute 110% best to make sure that I help preserve the nature that I call so dear. So, wrap it up. Key points. Do your research. Do your research. Know what you eat. Know what you wear. Know its impact. This is D. Shadara. Thank you for watching this video, and have a nice day.